Hi, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Matt Finney is off tonight because he's home puking his guts out. Get the flu shot, people. The Democrats must have watched BNN last week because they've changed course and are now doing things the proper way. A vote was held to begin an impeachment inquiry on Thursday, and it passed 232 to 196, with 2 Democrats voting against impeachment and 1 abstaining. At the end of the vote, Nancy Pelosi described the impeachment process as solemn and one that requires prayer, not something that should provide anyone with comfort or glee. She then knocked back a couple of Jell-O shots off her intern's chest, then knocked out a quick ice luge before doing a 36-second inverted keg stand. Now that this is an official process, the president is now going to be able to subpoena and question his own witnesses. So in theory, this is going to kill a lot of the complaints about not having due process. Nevertheless, Republicans are calling it a sham impeachment, while Democrats are calling it the first step on its way to justice. From our perspective, we just think this makes for great BNN. I look forward to the show. Sean Parnell, respected officer and best-selling author of the book Outlaw Platoon, announced his candidacy for the House in Pennsylvania this week. Many people are excited about this because Sean Parnell is known as a man of integrity. However, I should tell you that Sean and I once went to a party in D.C., and he bailed on me without saying anything, essentially leaving a man behind. Do with that what you will, people. In its biggest announcement of the week, the White House announced that Abu Bakar Baghdadi was killed. According to reports, Delta Force entered the compound where he was hiding. The reports actually said that it was United States Special Forces, but we all know it was CAG. Once cornered, Baghdadi detonated a suicide vest, killing him and his 3 children. President Trump stated in his delivery of the news that Baghdadi died like a dog, whimpering and crying. The United States strike team suffered 1 injury, a badass working dog named Conan. Conan, however, has already returned to duty. From all of us here at Ranger Up, we'd like to offer this to Abu Bakar al-Baghdadi. Yippee-yi-yay, mother fornicator. But not only did we get Baghdadi, we got his successor the very next day. ISIS's spokesperson, Abu Hassan al-Muhajir, was also killed in northeast Syria this week, so, it's been a damn good week. Now, it's important to note that many people have complained that we should never celebrate over the death of another human being, no matter how depraved that person is. We believe those people are poo-poo heads. The Washington Post took a shellacking this week after announcing the death of Baghdadi as the death of an austere religious scholar. That description was so bad that Hitler literally rose from the grave and said, "I did not see that coming." Memes trolling the Washington Post were at an all-time high. It was amazing, and it actually gave me a sense that this world's going to be okay after all. The Washington Post immediately took it down and replaced it with some other headlines, but Vice President of Communications Christine Kelly came on record as saying, "We never should have let that happen." And they did change it. But the internet never forgets. The internet never forgets. Dr. Michael Baden, New York's chief medical examiner in the 1970s, came out with a crazy theory this week. After assessing the body of Epstein, he believes, wait for it, that it's possible that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. Let's be honest. There is literally no one that thinks that Epstein committed suicide. Flat earthers are like, how gullible are these people? All the cameras around Epstein's cell go out, all of the guards take a nap, and he has an injury that is always associated with strangulation. You know what, murderers? You're not even trying. I'm insulted right now. Protests in Iraq over the government have been ramping up this month, with over 240 people killed. Thus far, the Iraqi government has suggested just a shuffling around of positions with some minor changes to the way the government works, which the protesters have not accepted. The protests are over a corrupt government, Iranian influence, and rocketing unemployment. Many are calling for a complete government overhaul. It's unclear what moves the protesters and the government will take next, but right now, basically everybody in Iraq is pissed off at each other. Tiger Woods clinched his 82nd PGA Tournament championship this week, tying Sam Snead. Snead was 52, Woods is 43. Some might argue that after winning 82 times, Woods should just call it a day. Hang it up. I mean, you won 82 times. When is it enough? These people will argue this point after never having won one championship, never mind 82. But never let that distract you from the fact that the New England Patriots came back from a 25-point deficit to win the Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's why Tiger Woods keeps winning golf. The Nationals won the World Series this week, so that continues the trend of people from DC making the rest of the world completely unhappy. I'm happy that you guys get to celebrate your baseball team. Maybe celebrate a balanced budget or a functioning government. I don't know. Maybe do your jobs. I'm glad you're not a state. The man most well-renowned for his role as Ice Cube's father in Friday, John Witherspoon, died this week at the age of 77. In addition to Friday, Witherspoon played many roles, including a voice artist in the show The Boondocks, a multiple-time contributor to the Wayans Brothers show, and a frequent guest of The Late Show. Mr. Witherspoon leaves behind his wife and 2 sons. Fair winds, sir. In Where is Dexter news, Captain Paul Sikkim of the Air Force Academy pled guilty to 1 count of sexual exploitation of a child. According to investigators, Sikkim had been talking to what he thought was a 14-year-old girl in a chat room. He had been exchanging sexual messages and trying to meet up with the child. On the other end, however, was actually the Arapahoe Sheriff's Office. They promptly arrested Sikkim for attempting to lure a child. Following his plea deal, he will be registered as a sex offender and will stay behind bars for at least 90 days. Did I mention that he was a professor of ethics at the Air Force Academy? Go Army! A single prop plane crashed into a townhome in Atlanta, Georgia this week. The pilot and his passenger were killed, however, no one in the home was injured because they weren't there. The fire marshal ordered everyone in the area to evacuate, but despite the fact that it was an inconvenience, no one protested because the damage was plain to see. R. Kelly was scheduled to appear in court Wednesday to react to his child pornography case in Chicago. Kelly's defense attorney instead let the judge know he'd be unable to attend due to an infected toe. He emphasized that R. Kelly was worried that somebody would step on his foot while he was being escorted. He has pleaded not guilty to a racketeering scheme with the intent of sexually exploiting girls. He remains in jail just 2 blocks from the courthouse as prosecutors believe he could fly. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey has announced that he is halting all paid political advertisement. Dorsey reasoned that political reach should be earned and not paid for. By allowing paid ads to run, he believes that politicians could bypass what their constituency actually wants and force their message in front of people over and over and over again. In response, Mark Zuckerberg had this to say: "Money, money, 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 money." And finally, in Florida Man news, a man from St. Petersburg, Florida, walked casually into a Target and then had sex with Olaf from Frozen and a unicorn. Reports say that Cody Meter casually walked into that Target with not a care in the world, wrapped his luxurious arms around Olaf, and then went to Dry Hump City. But he didn't stop there. Apparently Mr. Olaf wasn't Mr. Right, he was just Mr. Right Now. He then grabbed that unicorn off the shelf and, well, you know what happened next. Meter was detained until the police showed up. When the police asked him why he did it, he simply said, "I don't know. Sometimes I just do stupid stuff." Meter's father commented in an interview that sometimes Cody just does this kind of thing. Cody was arrested on a misdemeanor and was given a $150 bail. According to the manager of Target, Olaf and the unicorn were rapidly taken off the shelves and then burned with the fire of 1,000 suns. And with that, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, and Matt, I hope you stop puking.